Hey everybody, I'm Scott with Starkey Family Fixing Rigging Up. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And make sure you got your notifications turned on. That way you get notified when I put out my next video. Now today, I'm going to show everyone how to do a brake job on a Freightliner Columbia. So let's get this video rolling. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is, I like doing this when I'm able to. I know at the side of the road that really don't have an opportunity to bring all kinds of stuff with you. But we're home, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm actually going to try this out. And you may see this section of the video in one of my next videos. It's actually me buying this. But we're actually going to try this out on this rim first. I've never used this, so this is actually the first use. So I think I got the settings on there right. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't think I got the settings on there right. Okay, so let's try this again here. I went into the settings and readjusted it a little bit. Okay. A little bit better. There's one. Maybe I should check the settings again, right? Okay, I just went under the settings again. So let's try this again here. Let me try a different lug nut here. Either my lug nuts were on there like super tight, or I still ain't got this thing programmed in right, because it shouldn't have this problem. Let's try it some more here. I've got this turned all the way up. So maybe it's not as powerful as what I quite was hoping, but it is doing the job. I will have to tell you, this thing is starting to get really hot. Sockets are getting really hot. Okay, let's go ahead and take the wheel off now. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say about the impact wrench. I did take my truck down back around Christmas time, and I had purchased 2 new tires. And that time I did not put them on. It's in the winter time, so I actually allowed the tire shop to put the tires on for me. And it is possible that maybe they used their tools. They had a 1-inch impact. It is possible that they over tightened my lug nuts when they put the tires on there. If not, then I will have to say that that impact is just barely what you need to get the tires and lug nuts and everything off. So, is it nice still? Yes. It's handheld. I can keep it with me. I still don't have to use the ratchet. But I am going to say it is kind of a baseline, and that was a 3/4 inch impact by Milwaukee. It was the M18 FUEL. So that's what I'm going to say about that. So let's go ahead and move on to the brakes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to loosen up the slack adjuster, and this is what I'm actually using. All you do, take a screwdriver, pull it out, slide that in there, and as you see, it won't fall off. By the way, this is an electrical stripping tool here. As you see, it just clings on there. Now, the slack adjuster on mine has a square head on it, okay? I'm not going out buying a special square wrench for that because that's just stupid. This is what I'm actually using. You see all these little pins inside of there? This right here is a tool that I got a long time ago, made by a company called Endeavor. They call this a gator. Now this right here covers from, it says on here, 1/4 inch to 3/4 inch. Okay, so this also works on, let's see here, 7mm up to 19mm. So basically all you're going to do is you take the center of the nut or bolt, put it in the middle. It works on stripped out things. These are great. They're a little bit pricey. I think I paid around $20 for it. Okay, so I've got the linings now off of the drum. So we're ready to pull the drum off. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull the drum off. These are heavy, by the way. Okay, for the reason why we're actually in here, do you see the cracks right there in the lining? I don't know if you can see it right there. Well, the brake shoe's actually falling apart. And if I get pulled over in an inspection, that's a major no-no. So that's why we're actually in here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to clamp onto the spring down here on the bottom. As you see, it's pretty simple, just unhook it. Then I'm going to go inside, do the same thing. And what that's going to do is actually release the brakes. So now they're all loose and I can take them off. So let me go ahead and pull these off real quick. Okay, just loosen that one up. That one just falls from the bottom. Here you go. Very, very simple. Okay, so we'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to take a little bit of time and clean that whole area up because there's a lot of nastiness back in there. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so this is my old brake shoes. And as you see, you got one spring that goes around. You got hardware to install. You end up with two springs down here that'll just snap like this, one on this side, one on the other side. So let's go ahead and pull out the new shoes. Okay, so there are a few things on here that we need to put together, like these pins. And those pins are going to be for a spring that goes right across here. So basically all you're going to do is shove that pin in, and of course it falls through. Okay, you just hold it, knock it through. There's a hole on the other side that it falls down through, and it's going to look like this, and you want the V part coming down towards you. Let me see here, can you see this? There we go. You want this to come down to you. There's a notch in there for the spring. Very, very simple. So now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Line it up with the hole. Same thing. And you're going to turn it so it's just the V is inside towards you. Okay, so the next thing is you have these rollers and then you have a hanger for them. All you're going to do, put the hanger on, as you see. It's going to fit in place right here. I need to spin it around. Squeeze it in. Then move it all the way back until it locks in that hole, and that turns that roller back in there. Holds it in there. Same thing. Take this roller, put the hanger on. Back here. Squeeze it in. It locks right there in place. So that's good. Okay, remember those pins that we just put in? Okay, here's the spring. Make sure that your spring, the hooks are facing downward. So it's going to be like this. Go inside, hook that one. Go inside and hook that one. Now we're ready to install them. Okay, now this is important. You see these pins back here? I'm going to tell you what actually makes these bad. These are absolutely good. These have sleeves that actually go inside of there. Let me grab a new one here. Okay, this is a new one. This sleeve here would normally go inside, and then this right here would go inside of there. Okay? Well, the sleeve in here has no grooves. You have exactly the play that you need. You need to be able to roll these around. There's no wiggle in here, and there are no grooves cut down inside of these. Okay, most of the time when you do a brake job, you have to prepare yourself, because a lot of times these have to be beaten out of there, or sometimes in severe cases cut out. Now in this case, I checked both of these out. They're perfectly fine, absolutely fine. Now the reason why I am going to keep them is sometimes when you do brake jobs, even the new ones get damaged. Okay, same with the sleeves. But in this case, They are so good. I'm not doing one thing with them except for putting some anti-seize back on them, because that's what you normally do. You just put anti-seize all the way around on these. Just paint it up real well. And then you just simply slide it back in there. Go all the way through, then come back in. This one here is the same way. So we are going to do the same thing on it. Like I said, normally I would just go ahead and replace them, but these are absolutely perfect. So they've been wearing really good, and if something wears good like this, you really don't want to disturb it, because even installing new rollers and the sleeves, sometimes the disturbance that you put into them, they can actually turn bad where your other ones would have been perfectly fine. So in this case, I would tell you, if they're great, leave them alone, put anti-seize on them, put them back in. If they tilt, or if they got grooves in them or anything like that, that's when you want to install new sleeves and new rollers. Okay, so now it's time to install the shoes, which I will tell you, sometimes this can be a little bit tricky. Okay, so I got the front one on down here at the bottom. Okay, so this is actually on. So now we have to go through and put the springs on the back side. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it or not, but now I'm going to put the spring in that little hole there in the bottom. And then we got this spring right here. What we're going to do is we just clamp down on the spring and then bring it up and put it into the hole. That simple. Okay, so we're just going to do the same process. Put spring in the bottom, bring it up. We're just going to clamp on the curve, and then just bring it up and hook it in. That simple. Now I was going to tell you, if you're already in here, it's a good idea to go ahead and grease everything while you're at it. I grease my truck weekly. So here we're going to do the lower kingpin. You can see the grease come out. We're going to do the upper kingpin now. Now keep in mind, when I was doing these brakes, when I told you I was cleaning everything up, I grabbed the power washer and power washed everything off. That's how I clean everything up. Okay, there's the upper kingpin. S-cam. Okay, now we're going to do the slack adjuster. I'm going to come around here to the back and do the tie rod in. And we got some more linkage parts here. There we go. And that's pretty much all we have up here. Oh, I also forgot to tell you that the brake shoes that I'm actually using on my truck are a 4702Q, and I bought those separately, and they were about $45 a box. That means per side, with the hardware and the shoes. And then the brake drum that I'm about ready to put on, I got this over at Kenworth, of all places. Now I will tell you, if you need drums, right now is probably the time to go get them. If you go to, I would call around, because this brake drum varied. I got this is a medium grade. It is balanced, and like I said, I got it from Kenworth, and it is a DB154B. That's the number on it. And I got this for $134. Okay, now I got enough to do both sides, but we're just going to do a video on one side today. I called around, and one of the higher price places I called for the same exact drum, I mean same one, was $429. So make sure you call around. That right there is essential. There are people out there, just because they got a bad deal on something doesn't mean that they need to pass that off onto you, or they may have got a good deal and they're just wanting to rip you off. So make sure you always call around. Okay, so that's good. Stick this nice heavy drum up here. Looks nice, don't it? Okay, so let me go get my wheel balancer. Okay, so here's my wheel balancer, and this one here can work on multiple vehicles, but we use the small hole on here. And all that does is just slide back. You've never seen these before. Do you hear those? Okay, what happens is when you're driving down the road, those will actually line up in this tube, different places. And if you have a imbalanced tire, that fixes it every time. It resets and goes to a different spot every single time. Whereas if you would do the conventional way and just have it balanced, you know, have a little square of, you know, lead put on there, that's good when the tire's new. But in the real world, you know, things never wear even. So this right here, these balance up to 16 ounces on these ones here. I bought the good ones at the time. Okay, so just like before, we still have this up here, which is really nice. So all we're going to do is we're going to tighten up the slack adjuster, of course. We're going to run it all the way to the drum and then back it off a little bit. So hold that out. Okay, I guess I don't need to on this one. I forgot, this is just enough of a gap, it is holding it out. Okay, so it's all the way to the drum. Now we're going to back it off half a turn. There's a quarter, there's a half. That's simple. And then this just simply goes right back in. Okay, so before I put the wheel on, it's actually a really good idea to put anti-seize on the back side of your lug nuts, or not lug nuts, but the studs. Okay, and one reason is these are made out of steel. Well, my rims are made out of aluminum. You ever take off a set of wheels and you see that the wheel is actually getting ate up with corrosion around the studs? Well, this helps to seal that out and remedy that problem. As you can tell, I am a firm believer of anti-seize. I have used this stuff for years. I was a little kid when I started using this, actually, because my dad showed me what it was. And yeah, I am like a firm believer of this stuff, because it's actually a product that does what it says it's going to do, unlike a lot of products. This Permatex brand is one of my favorite brands. Actually, it's the only thing I use, and I'm not getting paid to say that. I'm just saying it because they deserve it, because they have a very good product out there. Okay, now we can actually put the rim and tire on. Roll back just a little bit more. I actually need to go under and jack the truck back up just a little bit, but it's on there. So let me go up underneath and raise the truck up a couple inches. I just lost my lug nut. Okay, so we got the oil on. You go ahead and run these on a little bit here. Okay, let me go get these started on. If you hear the rooster back here, that's Phoenix. Oops. Okay, so let's get this going. Okay, now let's go ahead and torque them. Okay, I'm much more satisfied right now. I am thinking that the tire shop that I went to have these tires put on had over torqued down my lug nuts, and that's why I had problems actually getting them off, because this actually worked perfect going back on there. And as for just judging the way the socket's turning and with it and everything, this is good. So I am going to recommend this. This is an M18. It's a Milwaukee fuel, and this is actually a 3/4 inch with the 1 key on it. And this does have a brushless motor on there, so this is powerful and it should last a long time. So anyways, we are done. Well, the video's done. I still got to do the other side on the truck, but I wanted to show everybody how to actually install front brakes on your semi truck and how to do the slack adjuster and then grease it and all that good noise. So I will catch you in my next video. I will end up leaving a link in the video for my unboxing video on this Impact. So if you guys want to catch that and, you know, see any helpful information just in case you're trying to pick one out, you can go ahead and review that video as well. But as for today, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure you have your notifications turned on. That way you get notified when my next video comes out. Thank you all. Have a good night.